Alright, welcome to your third and final video for today. This is going to be all about these last three questions and how to get these to work out for you. So, number 7, it says graph the exponential equation on your calculator and adjust your viewing window. And then using your graph about when you have half the M&Ms remaining. Now, the exponential equation that we got was this right here, 15.52 multiplied by 0.56 power of x. But we ended up rounding in order to get this equation. Let me show you how to get that directly into your y equals. So, what you're going to do, when you go to your stat, go to calc, and then go back to where it had the exponential regression. Okay, now when you press enter, and when you go through this, the x list and y list, those are the same as last time. What we're going to do differently, though, is in this line where it says store regression equation, we're going to say that we want to store this into the line y1. The way you do that, hit this button vars, which is right beneath the down arrow. So when you hit vars, go to your y vars and hit function. That's going to be where you get the option for y1, y2, and all of the other functions as well. So we're going to pick y1, go ahead and press enter. That's going to tell your calculator to take whatever the equation is that you get and store it directly into y1. And then we're going to go ahead and hit calculate. Alright. So, at this point, you see that we get the same thing. There's your 15.52, there's your 0.56. And now when you go to your y equals, you notice that it's already got the equation in there for you. So it's got the 15 and all the decimals. It's got the 0.55 and all of its decimals. And then way down here, it's got your power of x. That way you don't have to type in or write down all of those decimals. Now, when you hit graph, you should be able to now see your exponential equation graphed along all of those points. Alright, so the question that we were looking at answered, it says using your graph of this equation, about when did you have half the M&Ms remaining? Well, we started with 15, so half of that would be about 7.5. Now, your calculator will let you trace to a specific x value, but for y values, it's hard to kind of get it to where it's exactly 7.5. So here would be my suggestion. If you want it to be exact, go back in and put in an equation for a horizontal line y equals 7.5, or whatever half of your number of M&Ms would be. And go ahead and hit graph. Now, it's not going to right away tell you where half of them would be, but then you can find the intersection of those 2 points, or of those 2 lines. So what you'll do, second calc, and then go to your button for intersect. Now, what you need to make sure you do, make sure you're on one of the 2 curves, make sure you're not on the point, so it looks like I'm on the blue curve here. And press enter. Then make sure you are on the other curve, so make sure you're on that horizontal line, the red curve, and press enter. And then when it's time to guess, try to get as close as possible to where those 2 points are intersecting. And then press enter one last time. And it tells me that my intersection is at 1.24, comma 7.5. So, in order to have half of my M&Ms, it looks like it's going to take me 1.24 trials to get there. So, to the answer number 7, we'd say about 1.24 trials. As for does this match the results from your experiment? Well, let's see. We had about half of our M&Ms left after, well, let's see, we had 8 of them left after trial number 1. So, I mean, really, yeah, to have 7.5, that'd be a little bit after trial 1. Now, you really can't have trial 1.24, but in our experiment, does it match up? I would say yes, it does. So, does this match the results from your experiment? I would say yes. Oops. Okay, part or number 8, it says now using your equation about how many M&Ms would be remaining after the first 3 trials. Show your work. So what you're looking to do there, if you want to know how many would be left after the first 3, you just find what f of 3 would be. In other words, your equation, you had that it was, let's see, 15.52 multiplied by 0.56, and we want to know when after 3 trials how many will be left, so to the power of 3. Now, for the sake of time and showing you this video, I'm going to show you another way as well. At this point, you could just type this into your graphing calculator. The other way that you could kind of do this as well would be to make sure that you are hit trace, and then make sure that you are on your blue function, so your exponential function. And then as you are tracing, just type in the number 3, and that'll take you to where you have 3 trials. So, I mean, it should be the same as if you were to put in what we just wrote down into your calculator. Gives you 2.68. So, after 3 trials, we would say that there's going to be about 2.68 M&Ms left. Now, does this match the results from your experiment? Let's look and see. How many did we end up with after 3? So at 3 trials, we were at 3 M&Ms, and 2.68 is very, very, very close to 3. So, does this match the results from your experiment? Once again, I would say yes. All right. Now, just as an additional kind of note, especially to those of you who maybe have like a TI-83 calculator, exponential regression, it might not give you all of those options. For example, I'm going to have to get to it a different way. So let me kind of show you what might look different for you. When you go and hit, you may end up with something. Might just end up with something that looks like this, to where you don't have anything to hit calculate for. You don't have that menu that pops up. That's really nice. If this is for regression, then after this shows up, you have to type in list 1, comma, list 2. So if you've been having some issues with getting your exponential regression to work out, list 1, comma, list 2. Now, if you want to store your equation somewhere, you need to put a comma and then say where you want it to be stored. So you still have to go to the vars, go to your y vars for functions, and choose y1. And when you press enter, it should do the exact same thing for you. So if you do have a TI-83, and I might make an additional video just for you guys on showing that again, but just know that if yours does not have a menu that pops up for exponential regression, that's kind of how you have to type it in. All right, that's all I've got for you guys. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a fantastic 4-day weekend. If you don't finish up the lab before the end of the day today, please be sure and finish it up over the weekend. Get that to me by next Wednesday, and I will see you then.